Which surface wave is pictured? Correct. Love wave is the right answer. Is the shaking or trembling caused by the sudden release of energy, usually associated with faulting or breaking rocks? Nice selection. Earthquake is the correct and valid answer. Accurate data gathering, recording and interpretation of data pertaining to ground shaking are all components of DASH. Well done. Earthquake instrumentation is the right choice. A system utilized to reinforce building structures in which diagonal supports intersect. Best describes DASH. You chose cross bracing, and it is correct. A sudden, rapid shaking of the Earth's surface caused by energy released from movement in the Earth's crust. Great thinking. Earthquake is the right choice. A flat vertical element that supports the weight of a building level and provides extra building stiffness. Good thinking. Wall is the right answer. This level of ground motion has been taken as being an effective peak ground acceleration of 0.4 g. Clear logic. Your choice, Zone 4, is sound and 100% true. The record made by a seismograph, the paper on which data about earthquakes' waves is recorded. Valid point. Seismogram is true. What percentage of earthquakes are caused by the release of energy from movement along faults? Great job. 90% is the accurate answer. Is the place on the Earth's surface which lies directly above the center of the earthquake? Solid response. Epicenter is a valid choice. A platform used to test building design and material performance during earthquake shaking. Perfect. Shaking table is the correct choice. Which of the following describes the build-up and release of stress during an earthquake? Well reasoned, the elastic rebound theory is the correct choice. A fracture in bedrock, along which blocks of rock on opposite sides of the fracture move. Strong choice. Fault is the right answer. Are recording instruments used to record the motion of the ground during an earthquake? Good job. Your answer, seismographs, works well here. Are the recordings of the ground shaking at the specific location of the seismograph? What? On track. Seismograms is the correct answer. Which of these is a good engineering design for buildings where earthquakes occur? Excellent. Only one floor is a brilliant choice. Thin vertical elements that help support the weight of a building floor or level. You're right. Column is the correct answer. The process of fluidizing water saturated soil during an earthquake is known as. Nicely done. Liquefaction is a solid answer. What is the goal when constructing buildings in high-intensity earthquake areas? Smart move. To make them earthquake-resistant is an accurate answer. Which of the following is caused by a landslide or explosion under the oceans? Excellent choice. Tsunami is the right answer. What is the molten rock from a volcano called before it erupts at the surface? Smart pick. Magma is the correct choice. What would be considered a great earthquake with an extremely high magnitude? Bravo! 8.0 or higher is the answer. It is the energy radiated in all directions from the focus due to earthquake. Right choice. Seismic waves is the best answer. It is the point deep in the surface of the Earth where the quake originates. Nice work. You chose hypercenter, and it is correct. The point where movement occurred, which triggered the earthquake, is the dash. Exactly. Focus makes sense, and it is right choice. Where two plates move apart from one another, causing spreading and rifting.
Well picked. Divergent plate boundary is the correct answer.
Which is the safest material to use if engineering a house near a volcano? Correct response. Stone is the most accurate answer. It caused the loose on soft soils, which will affect its bearing capacity. Right again. Earthquake is a valid answer. The minimum number of seismic stations needed to locate an earthquake is sharp thinking. 3 is the right choice. It has an average shear wave velocity of less than 180 meters per second. You got it? Your choice soft soil is right. Any level space in a building above ground that could be used by people. Perfect. Building story is the correct choice. Is the place of origin of the earthquake in the interior of the Earth. Great job. Focus is the accurate answer. Who developed the procedure used to measure the size of an earthquake? Nice work. You chose Charles Richter, and it is correct. The amount of ground displacement in an earthquake is called the dash. You're right. Slip is the correct answer. What material is commonly used in modern base isolation systems? Clear logic. Your choice rubber and steel is sound and 100% true. In general, the most destructive earthquake waves are the dash. Excellent choice. S-waves is the right answer. Main type of waves that can travel the Earth's inner layers. Solid response. Bode waves is a valid choice. What system is used to measure the intensity of earthquakes? Well reasoned. Judge scale is the correct choice. The point within the Earth where seismic waves originate is. Nice selection. The focus is the correct and valid answer. The small earthquakes before a large earthquake are called. Great thinking. Foreshocks is the right choice. Locations where a column, beam, or brace connect together. Bravo. Joints is the answer. This is considered as the fastest kind of seismic waves. Good thinking. Primary waves is the right answer. Is the study of earthquakes and the waves they create. Smart pick. Seismology is the correct choice. What is one way engineers can make buildings stronger? Correct. Reinforcing concrete with steel is the right answer. Among the secondary effects of large earthquakes are. Exactly. All of these make sense, and it is right choice. Energy released from the focus during an earthquake. Sharp thinking. Seismic wave is the right choice. Most earthquakes at divergent plate boundaries are. You got it? Your choice shallow focus is right. Earthquakes with a focus depth of less than 70 km.
Valid point. Shallow earthquakes is true,
which can help reduce the risk of an earthquake.
Excellent. All of the above is a brilliant choice.
the instrument used to monitor Earth movements.
You chose seismograph, and it is correct. What natural phenomenon causes earthquakes? Good job. Your answer, tectonic plate shifts, works well here. A description of how a building fails.
Nicely done. Failure mechanism is a solid answer.
Earthquakes can occur with dash faulting.
Strong choice. Thrust is the right answer.
Which is not a cause of earthquake. Right choice. Changing of soil density is the best answer.
The location where a building fails.
Right again. Failure point is a valid answer.
The most damaging type of waves?
Smart move. Love waves is an accurate answer.
The fastest seismic waves are. Correct response. P waves is the most accurate answer. Body waves consist of the. On track. P and S waves is the correct answer. What causes tsunamis?
Well done. Earthquakes is the right choice.
P waves are. Well picked. Compressional body waves is the correct answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format.
Exactly. Contact Narayan Changda makes sense, and it is right choice.